Ms. Aretha Franklin, a longtime American singer, songwriter, and pianist, is dead. She passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer at her home in Detroit, Michigan, the United States, on August the 16th, 2018, aged 76. She had been born in Memphis, Tennessee, United States, in March 1942. She had begun her career as a child singing gospel at New Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, where her father, C.L. Franklin, was the pastor. In 1960, at the age of 18, she had embarked on a secular career recording for Columbia Records, but achieving only modest success until she signed to Atlantic Records in 1967, aged 25. That was when her commercial acclaim began, and she recorded various songs, the most famous and the most remembered ones of which were Respect, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Spanish Harlem, and Think. Already by the end of the 1960s, she was being called the Queen of Soul. She recorded acclaimed albums such as I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You in 1967, Lady Soul in 1968, Young, Gifted and Black in 1972, and Amazing Grace in 1972. Then she experienced problems with her record company by the mid-1970s. Her father was shot in 1979. She then left Atlantic and signed with Arista Records, finding success with the albums Jump to It in 1982 and Who's Zoomin' Who in 1985, and her part in the 1980 film The Blues Brothers. In 1998, she received international acclaim for singing the opera aria Nessun Dorma at the Grammy Awards that year, replacing the famous Italian tenor Mr. Luciano Pavarotti. Later in 1998, she scored her final top 40 song with A Rose Is Still a Rose. She recorded 112 charted singles on Billboard, including 77 Hot 100 entries, 17 top 10 pop singles, 100 rhythm and blues entries, and 20 number one rhythm and blues singles, becoming the most charted female artist in the chart's history. She received numerous honors throughout her career, including a 1987 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, becoming the first female performer to be inducted. She was inducted also to the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2005. In August 2012, she was inducted into the GMA Gospel Music Hall of Fame. She's listed in at least 2 all-time lists on Rolling Stone magazine, including the 100 Greatest Artists of All Time and the 100 Greatest Singers of All Time. She was born in Memphis, Tennessee, to Barbara Nee Siggers and Clarence Labone, or C.L. Franklin. Her father was an itinerant preacher originally from Shelby, Mississippi, while her mother was an accomplished piano player and vocalist. Her parents both had children, 3 in total, from outside their marriage. When Aretha was 2, the family moved to Buffalo, New York. In 1946, C.L. Franklin permanently relocated the family to Detroit, Michigan, where he became the pastor of New Bethel Baptist Church. Aretha's parents had a troubled marriage due to stories of her father's philandering, and in 1948 the couple separated, with Barbara relocating back to Buffalo with her son Vaughn from a previous marriage. Contrary to popular belief, however, her mother did not abandon her children. Not only did Aretha recall seeing her mother in Buffalo during the summer, but Barbara also frequently visited her children in Detroit. Barbara died of a heart attack in March 1952. The news of her mother's death was broken by her father, who had gathered Aretha and her siblings in the kitchen to tell them about her death and that he could not have been more understanding. Several women, including Aretha's grandmother Rachel and the famous African-American gospel singer Mahalia Jackson, took turns helping with the children at the Franklin home. During this time, Aretha learned how to play the piano by ear. Aretha's father's emotionally driven sermons resulted in his being known as the man with $1 million voice and earning thousands of dollars for sermons in various churches across the United States. His celebrity status led to his home being visited by various celebrities, such as gospel musicians Clara Ward, James Cleveland, and early Caravans members Albertina Walker and Inez Andrews, as well as Martin Luther King Jr., Jackie Wilson, and Sam Cooke. Ward was not only a visitor to the home, but was romantically involved with Aretha's father, although she preferred to view them strictly as friends. Ward also served as a role model to the young Aretha. Aretha attended Northern High School, but later dropped out during her sophomore year. Just after her mother's death in the spring of 1952, Aretha began singing solos at New Bethel, including debuting or starting with the hymn Jesus Be a Fence Around Me. In 1954, when Franklin was 12, her father began managing her, bringing her on the road with him during his so-called gospel caravan tours for her to perform in various churches. After turning 18 in March 1960, Franklin confided to her father that she aspired to follow Sam Cooke in recording pop music and moved to New York. In January 1961, Columbia issued Franklin's first secular album, Aretha, with the Ray Bryant Combo. Then let's fast forward. Aged 66, in January 2009, she performed My Country 'Tis of Thee, an old American patriotic song, at President Barack Obama's inaugural ceremony, with her church hat becoming a popular topic online. In 2010, Franklin accepted an honorary degree from Yale University. In 2011, under her own label, Aretha's Records, she issued the album Aretha, A Woman Falling Out of Love. In September 2014, she performed to a standing ovation with Cissy Houston as backup, a compilation of Adele's Rolling in the Deep and Ain't No Mountain High Enough on The Late Show with David Letterman. In December 2015, she gave an acclaimed performance of one of her most famous and most popular songs, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, at the 2015 Kennedy Center Honors during the section for honoree Carole King, who co-wrote the song. According to Richie Unterberger, Franklin was one of the giants of soul music and indeed of American pop as a whole. More than any other performer, she epitomized soul at its most gospel-charged. She had often been described as a great singer and musician due to vocal flexibility, interpretive intelligence, skillful piano playing, her ear, her experience. Franklin's voice was described as being a powerful mezzo-soprano voice. After being raised in Detroit, she relocated to New York City in the 1960s, where she lived until moving to Los Angeles in the mid-1970s. Then she settled in Encino, Los Angeles, where she lived until 1982. After that, she returned to the Detroit suburb of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, to be close to her ailing father and siblings. Excuse She maintained a residence there until she died. After an incident in 1984, she cited a fear of flying that prevented her from traveling overseas, and after that she performed only in North America. She had 4 sons, first becoming pregnant at age 12. Her first child, Clarence, was born in January 1955. According to the news site Inquisitor, spelled INQUISITR, the child's father was Donald Burke, a boy she knew from school. In January 1957, aged 14, she had a second child named Edward. Franklin did not like to discuss her early pregnancies with interviewers. She was married twice. Her first husband was Theodore or Ted White, whom she married in 1961. After a contentious marriage involving domestic violence, Franklin separated from White in 1968, divorcing him in 1969. She married her second husband, actor Glyn Turman, in April 1978 at her father's church. By marrying Turman, Franklin became stepmother of Turman's 3 children from a previous marriage. Franklin and Turman separated in 1982 after Franklin returned to Michigan from California, and they divorced in 1984. At one point, Franklin had plans to marry her longtime companion, Willie Wilkerson, but eventually Franklin called the engagement off in 2012. Yes, her third child, Ted White Jr., was born in February 1964 and is known professionally as Teddy Richards. Her youngest son, Keekaf Cunningham, was born in 1970 and is the child of her road manager, Ken Cunningham. When Whitney Houston died in February 2012, Franklin said she was surprised by her death. She was a registered Democrat. She dealt with weight issues for years. In 1974, she dropped 40 pounds or 18 kilograms during a crash diet and maintained her new weight until the end of the decade. Franklin again lost weight in the early 1990s before gaining some back. A former chain smoker who struggled with alcoholism, she quit smoking in 1992. Franklin admitted in 1994 that her smoking was messing with her voice, but after quitting smoking, she said later in 2003, her weight ballooned. In 2010, Franklin cancelled a number of concerts after deciding to have surgery for an undisclosed tumor. In May 2013, she cancelled 2 performances to deal with an undisclosed medical treatment. In 2017, she cancelled a series of concerts due to health reasons. During an outdoor Detroit show, Franklin told the audience to keep her in their prayers. On August the 13th, 2018, Franklin was reported to be gravely ill at her home in Riverfront Towers, Detroit. She was reported to be under hospice care and surrounded by friends and family. Stevie Wonder, Jesse Jackson, and ex-husband Glyn Turman, among others, visited her on her deathbed. Franklin died at home on August the 16th, 2018, aged 76. The cause was reported to be advanced pancreatic cancer.